Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about the C major scale. You might have seen the C major scale before, something you have learned before, and you know where to find this scale on a piano, exactly from C to C. Let's check. Here's their C. There we go. Now today we are going to see how a major scale is actually constructed. And therefore we are going to analyze this C major scale. What you also learned before is what a semitone step is and a whole tone step is. So in order to analyze this scale, let's check the individual steps between the notes. Every scale is made from steps. So let's see which steps we find in the C major scale. Let's start on the C. From C to D, do we find a whole tone step or do we find a semitone step? Let's see, between C and D we find 1, 2 semitone steps. 2 semitone steps are a whole tone. Let me just draw this in. So between C and D we have a whole tone. Between D and E we also have a whole tone. 1, 2 semitone steps. So let me draw this in as well. Whole tone, whole tone. Between the E and the F we find a semitone, neighboring keys. So in this case we have a semitone step. Let me just draw this in. Between the F and the G we also have a whole tone step. Between the G and the A we also have a whole tone step, 2 semitone steps. Draw this in. Between A and B we also have a whole tone step. And between B and C we have a semitone step. So let's give these notes numbers. This is note number 1, note number 2, note number 3, note number 4, note number 5, note number 6, note number 7, and note number 8. So which tone steps do we find in a major scale? We find a whole tone between tone 1 and 2, a whole tone between tone 2 and 3, a semitone between 3 and 4, a whole tone between 4 and 5, a whole tone between 5 and 6, a whole tone between 6 and 7, and a semitone between the 7 and 8. So in the future, this round bow here will illustrate a whole tone, and this little bracket will illustrate the semitones. Another thing you see is that we use 7 different notes to create the major scale. The 8th one is a C again. So we have 7 steps in this scale. 7 in Greek is called hepta. And every scale that consists out of 7 tone steps is called a heptatonic scale. This major scale is just one of the heptatonic scales. There can be many heptatonic scales. There are Western heptatonic scales. There are Indian heptatonic scales. But this heptatonic scale is by far the most used in the Western world. So the major scale is a heptatonic scale. 7 tone steps. You see that the major scale is made from 5 whole tone steps and 2 semitone steps. The semitone steps in a major scale are between tone 3 and 4 and tone 7 and 8. And if you remember this for now, top.